Hello my beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you are most welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy content that uncovers the hidden truths of the past. This video explores dark historical themes in Victorian literature for educational and entertainment purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. Victorian literature. You might remember it from school, corsets, candlelight, and complicated sentences. Maybe you studied Jane Eyre, Great Expectations, or Wuthering Heights. But what you probably didn't hear is this. These novels weren't just about romance or virtue. They were filled with buried secrets, hidden messages about child labor, mental illness, gender repression, colonial guilt, and the terrifying underworld of Victorian society. Today, we're unlocking what your school books never dared to tell you. This is Victorian literature's dark secrets. Charles Dickens is often painted as the moralist of the Victorian age, but few realize how dark his critique of society really was. In Oliver Twist, Dickens exposes the brutal realities of the workhouse system. The story of a boy punished for asking for more food wasn't fiction, it was social protest. During Dickens' youth, he worked in a blacking factory while his father was imprisoned for debt. That trauma shows up everywhere in his work. In Bleak House, the character Joe is a homeless child who knows nothing and dies in the street. Dickens doesn't romanticize Joe, he uses him to shame a society that ignored its children. Official reports documented 30,000 homeless children in London, though reformers argued the true number was far higher. You might know Jane Eyre as a love story. But what about the woman in the attic? Bertha Mason, Mr. Rochester's mad wife, is a symbol of how Victorian society treated mental illness, especially in women. Locked away, unnamed, silenced. Some scholars even argue Bertha represents the colonial other, due to her West Indies background. Charlotte Brontë, like her sisters, knew repression firsthand. The Brontë siblings were plagued by early deaths, creative isolation, and illness. Their writings are not just Gothic fantasies, they are metaphors for psychological breakdown and social alienation. Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights is often misunderstood. It's not a love story, it's a story about obsession, control, and vengeance. Heathcliff, the brooding outsider, is not a romantic hero. He's a violent, often cruel man whose origins are racially ambiguous. Critics have debated whether he represents the colonial outsider or the displaced poor. The Yorkshire moors weren't just eerie settings. They represented freedom from Victorian restraint and also isolation, exile, and death. Far from the madding crowd might be poetic, but Hardy's later works turn brutally honest. Tess of the D'Urbervilles was banned from some libraries. Why? Because Tess is a rape victim, and Hardy dared to call her pure. Victorian society didn't forgive women who stepped outside moral boundaries even if they were victims. Hardy's work explores poverty, shame, hypocrisy, and fate. His female characters are often crushed by laws and customs designed to keep them obedient. In the 19th century, fallen women could be institutionalized or forced into prostitution. Oscar Wilde is famous for wit, but beneath the surface was a coded rebellion. In The Picture of Dorian Gray, Wilde explores vanity, desire, and duplicity. But it also contains subtle nods to same-sex love, something illegal at the time. Wilde was eventually imprisoned in 1895 for gross indecency. His downfall was public, brutal, and symbolic. The aesthetic movement Wilde championed wasn't just about beauty. It was a covert way to express forbidden identity through art, fashion, and literature. Many Victorian novels seem disconnected from colonialism. But look closer. In Jane Eyre, Bertha's origins in Jamaica reflect Britain's colonial anxiety. In Great Expectations, Magwitch makes his fortune in Australia, a penal colony. Colonial wealth, guilt, and violence are ever-present ghosts. These books weren't just about tea and manners. They were about a society haunted by what it had stolen. Victorian literature isn't just historical. It's disturbingly modern. It wrestled with poverty, trauma, gender, and power long before we had the words for them. So the next time someone says Dickens is boring, or Brontë romantic, remember. These authors weren't just telling stories. They were hiding confessions. And now, you know their secrets. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this video eye-opening. See you in the next one. Sources used: London Labour and the London Poor, by Henry Mayhew. Parliamentary Reports on Destitute Children. The Madwoman in the Attic, by Gilbert and Goober. Queer Victorians, by Sharon Marcus and Stephen Heath. Victorian Literature and the Victorian Visual Imagination, by Carol T. Christ.